A few years ago, I remember being at the hospital. My youngest son has wrestled with since birth a lot of health problems that we've recently got diagnosed as something that makes sense, but a few years ago we were still struggling to figure out what was going on. Well, it turned out that he needed to have another procedure, this time spinal cord surgery, something very, that we were really concerned about and had a lot of questions about. And so here we are, we find ourselves at the hospital again, one of his many procedures that he had to have done in his young life so far. He was only 4 years old at the time. And we're sitting there, we're worried all day, and he has the procedure, and my wife actually was able to go back into the recovery room with him and try to help comfort him and that sort of thing. Well, as part of this procedure, when you have this done, you have to lay flat for 24 hours. If you can imagine how hard it is to keep a 4-year-old boy laying flat, laying still for 24 hours. And we were doing everything we could think of. We had movies playing. We brought his favorite toys that he could play with while he's there laying in his bed. And as the day went on, it was getting harder and harder to come up with things to keep him busy. And a little bit later in the afternoon, there was a knock on his hospital door. And we look up, and there were 2 clowns there asking if it's okay to come in. I mean, literally, clowns. And they walk in, and of course, we wave, we motion for them, come on in, please. We're running out of things to do here. And so, these 2 clowns come in, and for the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, they're doing little tricks for him, and they're just being silly. And my son was loving every second of it. And then of course my wife and I were loving it just as much and more that they were able to relieve us of trying to think of some more things to do to keep him to lay still. They came in there giving him their little clown noses and doing the little silly things for him and us, and they put noses on my wife and I. And they were in the room for about 15, maybe 20 minutes, and then they left. And even after they left, we were still having such a great time about it, playing with the noses, and I couldn't help but think that here these 2 people are, who they are, I have no idea. I hope they're still doing it. I have no idea. But the reality was my son was having to lay still for 24 hours in a hospital bed as a 4-year-old, a place he didn't want to be, doing something he didn't want to do. And then there was a knock on the door, and these 2 people came in and changed his world. He went from being a little boy laying in a hospital bed to a little boy being entertained by clowns, forgetting all about the circumstance that he was in. And I just couldn't be more happy that these 2 people chose to do that with their time, to come. And later on we found out they were just volunteers that come in from time to time to help cheer up the kids. And it changed his world for that time. And I just couldn't be more happy and grateful for those people.